Hello, my name is Garth Elzerman. I suppose this is an overview of my personal journey and experiences. Where to begin? I'm originally from South Africa, where I achieved a bachelor's in philosophy, psychology, and law. I initially had this bright-eyed idea to go into the legal profession, a notion I quickly abandoned. I came to realize that I had a passion for imparting knowledge to and promoting understanding in inquiring minds. I've always had a fondness for education and believe that a good education is something that can affect real change. Now, by education, I don't simply mean the absorption of knowledge from an instructor or formal education for that matter, but rather the exploration of and reflection upon the world around us. The gaining of a genuine, true understanding and perspective. As is the case with most of us, I was subject to some bullying when I was younger. But rather than putting me down, it emboldened me to reflect on myself and on those around me. It lit a fire of exploration and reflection within me. All of these factors together nudged me towards becoming an educator. I went on to obtain an honours degree while also running a family business. And after 7 years, I decided it was time for a change, it was time for a move. Due to South Africa's turbulent political, economic and social climate, I looked abroad and settled on Korea. I then obtained a TESOL qualification and was off across the world. It happened almost in a blink of an eye. My family and friends were rather taken aback from something I merely mentioned to a plan in action. It all happened overnight. I saw Korea as an opportunity to begin my journey as an educator and as a chance to explore a world I didn't know a lot about. I ended up in Jeonju, a city in Jeollabuk-do, by far my favorite city in Korea. I highly recommend you visit it if you haven't already. By far, one of my favorite places in Korea, and I miss it terribly. For 3 years, I worked at a private English academy in Jeonju. Anyone who has taught or knows someone who has taught at a private English academy in Korea knows that it is no cakewalk. It can be an incredibly challenging experience, both in terms of education, in terms of teaching, but also just mentally and physically. Despite the many difficulties, I was very lucky, I was fortunate, in that for the most part, my negative experiences were on the milder side. I absolutely loved my time in Jeonju, made some fantastic friends, and explored a great deal of Korea. During that time, I also went on to complete my master's in philosophy and managed somehow to obtain a postgraduate certificate in education from Essex University, with the aim of eventually becoming a lecturer of philosophy. After 3 years, it was time for me to continue my journey, and a year ago I started working as an English instructor at a Korean university, and have just recently been accepted to begin my PhD in philosophy. I have truly loved Korea. It is an amazing country filled with some amazing people. It is very easy for a person to live well in Korea. Far more so than many other places in this chaotic world of ours. I always believe that with a little bit of perspective, even the most pessimistic person can come to see the virtues of living in Korea. I realize many of us have very different experiences and some better than others. But I do feel that a lot of expats tend to have a negative view, or rather they tend to exaggerate or focus upon the negative experiences they have It's a problem that's becoming increasingly prevalent across the world. I feel at the moment that we focus far too much on the negative, which prevents us from seeing or acknowledging the good, and thus, prevents us from experiencing any forms of warranted gratitude. But anyway, I'm getting off topic. Despite loving Korea, I have found teaching here to be challenging at times. Far too much of the system is focused on outcomes and appearance, with little to no focus on genuine education or authentic learning. Additionally, I feel that there is a high level of managerial incompetence in the education sector here. These difficulties have also been a virtue, however, in that they have helped shape me into the educator I am today, and have given me very clear ideas of what not to do or of what does not work. Something I noticed missing in Korea was also a true sense of community among expat educators. This is one of the reasons I chose the theme of collaboration for the 30th Korea TESOL International Conference. I became involved in KOTESOL in 2019. I was at the national conference and caught the scent of pizza wafting down a corridor. Being a lover of pizza, naturally, I followed the delicious smell and helped myself to a wonderful lunch. I only discovered later that it was actually a trap. I showed some interest in being involved in the organization, and a few months later, I found myself recruited as the Human Resources Manager for the 2019 International Conference. Fast forward a few years, and now I find myself the chair of the 2023 Korea TESOL International Conference. It looks as if I'm still paying for that pizza. Anyway, that is my journey in a nutshell, and I hope to see you all, meet many of you at the upcoming conference.